DW.
We need to acknowledge that the trust in media in this country is at its lowest lows. And it didn't happen overnight. And it's not only one person who contributes to that. And I think that the big media corporations and big media networks, they need to take some part of that responsibility. And that is also why I, in the end of the day, have established independent media to basically contribute to that dialogue.
What do you mean when you say, Ksenia, when you say that you're independent media, what do you mean by that?
It means that we are independent voice, that we are not beholden to any corporate or special interest, and that we are not part of any media network with a political agenda. And that's something that is very important nowadays to hear, because the owners of the media today, the biggest media today, are the biggest corporations. And corporations do not care about the voice anymore. And that is, how this original voice, an independent voice, has been dying. And, it's very different in Europe because you have a public media like Deutsche Welle, like BBC. It's totally different design. In America, you have corporations. And with corporations, they're concerned with profits. They're concerned with many things, but they are not that much concerned with the voice.
With regards to losing trust, as you say, that the Americans have lost trust in the media, how do you think that can be restored?
Well, one of the reasons, to be restored is that we need to basically first and foremost provide accurate information, and that we need to remove ideological bias from the reporting, which is present because American media is basically either left or right. And there is very little, at least to my knowledge, media who are in the center or who are free of ideological bias, unless they're hard news. We need then to think about how we approach the stories and how we can remove whatever we believe in terms of ideological spectrum.
How are you going to do it right?
I'm going to give voice to people which maybe I disagree personally with, but I believe that they deserve to be heard, because this is how we are going to showcase, all the texture of the American society. So we need to a little bit remove this elitist approach. The world has changed. And if you were here in America, you would feel it. But there's definitely a large group of people in America who were extremely unhappy with the last 8 years of the previous administration, and maybe the 8 years before, and 8 years before. And we didn't know anything about them. And how did it happen? We cannot report only on what we want to report and assume that everyone is like us. Not everyone went to Yale. Not everyone lives in New York. Not everyone lives in Washington, D.C. There is this other America we don't know anything about, and that's the fact.
From the outside looking in, there has been a lot of anger and concern at how Donald Trump has carried himself, and in particular, the rashness with which he has issued these executive orders. For someone on the ground, Ksenia, you're a White House reporter. Do you share that concern?
It would concern me if in any way the civil rights would be jeopardized. It would concern me if we would see that we have repressions of freedoms, that we're becoming a dictatorship. But I don't see really that happening in America. I don't see how this would be possible to happen in America. Maybe we should pay more attention to the actual policies than what he says. I'm not saying that what he's saying is not important, but if you start reacting to everything, to every tweet, to everything he says, then the panic goes up. I think that the temperature really needs to go down, and that some kind of conversation needs to take place.
DW